The 3 moons of Lumeria cast a pale blue glow over the crystal cities that dotted the planet's surface. In the central science tower, first observer GL stared at the holographic display with growing dread. The numbers did not lie. The asteroid cluster would reach their home system in less than 2 standard cycles. "Run the calculations again," GL said, his translucent fingers trembling slightly. His skin, like that of all Lumeri, was nearly transparent, revealing the gentle flow of light blue blood beneath. Second observer Kalen bowed respectfully. "We have run them 12 times, first observer. The results are always the same. The asteroid cluster will strike our outer colonies first, then reach Lumeria itself." The room fell silent. The Lumeri had enjoyed peace for thousands of years. Their civilization had advanced beyond the need for primitive concerns like physical strength or endurance. On their low-gravity world, with its stable climate and absence of predators, they had evolved into beings of remarkable intelligence but delicate physicality. "Our deflector technology?" Shirhel asked, already knowing the answer. "Not powerful enough for objects of this size," Kalen replied, "and we lack the physical capability to deploy the necessary equipment manually." GL moved to the window, gazing out at the gleaming city. Millions of his people lived here, with millions more on their colony worlds. None of them had ever faced a threat like this. "We must send a distress signal," he said finally, "to all corners of the galaxy." The council chamber erupted in concerned whispers when GL proposed his plan. "A universal distress signal?" High Counselor Tevan asked, her voice quivering. "But that could reach anyone." "That is precisely the point," GL replied. "Our long-range scans show no neighboring civilizations of our classification within response range. We must cast a wider net. Even to the forbidden zones?" Another counselor gasped. "To worlds classified as death category?" GL straightened his slender form. "We have always avoided contact with species from high-gravity or hostile environment worlds. Their physical capabilities and evolutionary path make them unpredictable. But now, those very traits might be what saves us." After hours of debate, the council reluctantly agreed. Within a day, the most powerful transmission array on Lumeria was reprogrammed. It sent a simple message, a plea for help, along with astronomical data showing the incoming threat broadcasting in all directions, on all frequencies that might be detected by a spacefaring civilization. "Now we wait," GL told Colleen as they watched the signal strength indicators. "Though I doubt any Deathworlders would acknowledge a call from strangers." 47 light-years away, Dr. Elena Santos jolted upright in her chair at the SETI listening post in Chile. For a moment she thought she had fallen asleep and dreamed the pattern she was seeing on her monitor. "Carlos," she called to her colleague, trying to keep her voice steady. "Can you verify this signal?" Dr. Carlos Mendez hurried over, his coffee sloshing over the rim of his mug. He stared at the screen, then set down his cup with a thud. "That's not random," he whispered. "That's a structured transmission, and it's not coming from Earth." Within hours, the Chilean listening post was swarming with scientists and government officials. The signal was being received by other radio telescopes around the world. Teams of cryptographers worked around the clock to decode it. 3 days later, in a secure conference room beneath the Pentagon, the President of the United States sat at the head of a long table. Around her were military leaders, scientists, linguists, and diplomats. "So you're telling me," the President said slowly, "that we've received a distress call from aliens?" Dr. Santos nodded. "Yes, Madam President. The message contains astronomical coordinates, data about their star system, and what appears to be information about an imminent collision with a large asteroid cluster. They're asking for help. And we're certain this isn't a hoax?" the President asked. General Williams, chairman of the Joint Chiefs, shook his head. "The signal is coming from 47 light-years away. No Earth technology could fake that." The President turned to the NASA director. "Could we help them even if we wanted to?" Dr. Patel, the NASA director, hesitated. "With our current deep space capabilities, we could reach their system in about 7 months using our most advanced propulsion systems. The real question is whether we should." "Why wouldn't we?" asked the Secretary of State. "First contact scenarios carry enormous risk," said Dr. Klein, the xenoanthropologist. "We know nothing about these aliens, their biology, their intentions, their culture. This could be a trap. Or it could be exactly what it appears to be," Dr. Santos countered. "A civilization facing extinction reaching out for help." The debate continued for hours, then days. Similar discussions were happening in capitals around the world. The United Nations Security Council held emergency sessions. 2 weeks after receiving the signal, a decision was reached. Humanity would respond. Captain Maya Chen stood in the hangar of the Kennedy Space Center, looking up at the massive ship that would carry her crew across the stars. The UES Mercy had been retrofitted from a military vessel, now equipped for both peaceful contact and potential rescue operations. "Hard to believe we're really doing this," said Commander Raj Patel, her second-in-command, as he came to stand beside her. "Hardest part was picking the crew," Maya replied. "Every scientist and soldier on Earth wanted a spot." "You chose well," Raj said, nodding toward the team assembling near the shuttle that would take them to the Mercy, already in orbit. "Best of the best." The final crew numbered 42, military personnel trained in space operations, scientists from various disciplines, engineers who could adapt to unforeseen challenges, and a small diplomatic team. They represented 12 nations and a cross-section of humanity's skills and knowledge. Dr. Santos was there too, as the mission's communication specialist. It was fitting that the woman who had first detected the signal would help facilitate first contact. "Captain," a young lieutenant called, approaching with a tablet. "Final mission parameters from command." Maya reviewed the orders, then addressed her assembled crew. "In 10 hours, we depart on the most important mission in human history," she said, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. "We've trained for every scenario we could imagine, but we're heading into the unknown. We represent not just our nations, but our entire species." She looked at each face, seeing determination, fear, excitement, all emotions she shared. The aliens who sent this signal didn't expect a response from a world like ours. They didn't expect Deathworlders to acknowledge their call. But that's exactly what we're doing, because whatever we find out there, we bring something unique. We're humans. We evolved on a world that tried to kill us every day, and we didn't just survive, we thrived. Maya took a deep breath. "We don't know what we'll face, but I know this. We face it together. For those we left behind, and for those waiting for our help among the stars." As the crew prepared for departure, news of the mission spread across Earth. Millions gathered in homes, public squares, and places of worship. Some prayed for the crew's safety. Others celebrated humanity's first step into a larger universe. Many feared what contact with an alien civilization might bring. But underneath it all ran a current of pride, that when a cry for help echoed across the stars, it was humanity who had answered. In his quarters aboard the Mercy, Dr. James Wilson, the mission's xenobiologist, recorded his personal log. "We don't know what these aliens look like, how they think, or what they'll make of us," he said quietly. "All we know is they're in trouble, and they reached out across the void. Maybe that's enough common ground to start with." As the UES Mercy prepared for its historic journey, GL stood once more in the Central Science Tower on Lumeria, watching the moon's rise. The distress signal continued to broadcast into space, though he had little hope of a response. On his screen, a notification flashed. A signal had been detected, originating from a small blue planet in a system 47 light-years away. The translation matrix was processing the message, but the first word was already clear: coming. The UES Mercy moved through the darkness of space, its engines pushing the massive ship faster than any human vessel had traveled before. Inside, the crew settled into routines that would carry them through the 7-month journey to the Lumeri system. Captain Maya Chen sat in her quarters, reviewing the data they had gleaned from the alien signal. The holographic display showed the projected path of the asteroid cluster that threatened the aliens' homeworld and colonies. A knock at her door interrupted her thoughts. "Enter," she called Dr. Elena. Santos stepped inside carrying a tablet. "Captain, we've made more progress with the translation matrix. We're getting a clearer picture of who sent the signal." Maya gestured to the chair opposite her desk. "Tell me." "They call themselves the Lumeri," Elena explained, pulling up images on her tablet. "Based on the data embedded in their message, they evolved on a low-gravity planet with minimal environmental hazards." "How minimal?" Maya asked. "Very," Elena said. "Their world has no significant tectonic activity, stable weather patterns, and few, if any, predator species. They evolved in what we might call paradise conditions." Maya frowned. "That explains why they can't handle the asteroids themselves. A species that evolved without physical challenges wouldn't develop the same instincts for survival that we have. Exactly, Elena agreed. They're likely physically fragile compared to humans, but their technology is far advanced. The problem isn't knowledge, it's application. They need muscle, Maya said simply. They need humans. Over the following weeks, the crew prepared for their eventual arrival. In the ship's gym, soldiers and scientists alike trained daily, maintaining the physical strength that would be crucial for the mission. Commander Raj Patel led a group through weightlifting exercises, calling out encouragement as they pushed through another set. "Don't slack now," he shouted over the grunts of exertion. "Remember, we're the heavy worlders, the strong ones. The aliens are counting on these muscles." Across the ship in the science lab, Dr. James Wilson and his team studied the limited data on Lumeri biology. Based on their star's spectral classification and the atmospheric composition they included in their message, we can make educated guesses about their physiology, James explained to his colleagues. They likely have excellent vision, possibly into wavelengths we can't perceive. Their muscles would be significantly weaker than ours, adapted for precision rather than power. "Will we even be able to breathe the same air?" asked Dr. Aisha Kwan, the team's medical specialist. James shook his head. "Unlikely without assistance. Their atmosphere has less oxygen and more of what appears to be a helium-like gas. We'll need to use our envirosuits, at least initially." In the ship's central meeting room, the diplomatic team role-played first contact scenarios. Ambassador Laura Chen, no relation to the captain, took the lead. "We need to be careful not to frighten them," she instructed. "From their perspective, we're from a death world, a planet that would kill them in minutes. We're built to survive conditions they would find horrifying. So we're basically space orcs to them?" quipped Miguel Reyes, her assistant. Laura smiled despite herself. "That's one way to put it. We need to emphasize our peaceful intentions without hiding our capabilities. They need our help because of our physical strength and endurance." The ship's AI, Arya, Advanced Responsive Intelligence Assistant, managed communications between the different teams, ensuring information was shared efficiently. It also maintained the long-range connection with Earth, though the increasing distance meant communications were becoming delayed. "Captain," Arya's smooth voice came over the intercom in Maya's quarters one night, 3 months into their journey. "We've encountered an unusual phenomenon ahead. Your presence is requested on the bridge." Maya arrived to find several officers studying the main view screen. A swirling distortion blocked their path. "What am I looking at?" Maya asked, taking her seat in the command chair. "We're not entirely sure," Lieutenant Kim, the navigation officer, replied. "It appears to be a gravitational anomaly. Not on any of our charts. Can we go around it?" "Yes, but it would add 3 weeks to our journey," Kim said. "The Lumeri might not have that time to spare." Maya studied the readings. "What about going through it?" The bridge fell silent. Chief Engineer Ortiz cleared his throat. "Possible, but risky. The ship's shield should hold, but we've never encountered anything like this before." Maya tapped her fingers on the armrest of her chair, weighing the decision. Delay their mission or risk the ship and crew? This was why they had chosen a captain with both scientific and military background. "Prepare to adjust course directly through the anomaly," she ordered. "All hands secure stations for potential turbulence." As the Mercy approached the anomaly, tension filled the ship. In the mess hall, crew members gripped their tables. In the gym, equipment was locked down. In the lab, specimens and equipment were carefully secured. Entering anomaly in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. "Lieutenant," Kim counted down. The ship shuddered as it entered the swirling distortion. Lights flickered and artificial gravity briefly faltered. On the bridge, Maya gripped her chair as alarms blared. "Shield strength at 70% and holding," reported the tactical officer. "Hull integrity stable. Keep her steady," Maya ordered, her voice calm despite the chaos. For 17 minutes, the Mercy pushed through the anomaly, the crew enduring what felt like the worst turbulence imaginable. Then suddenly they were through, the stars once again clear on the view screen. "Damage report," Maya called out. "Minor systems damage only," Chief Ortiz replied, sounding relieved. "Repairs underway. No casualties." Maya allowed herself a small smile. "Update our star charts with that anomaly, and send a message back to Earth with the navigational data. Other ships will need to know about that obstacle." "That's going to delay the message significantly," Communications Officer Davies warned. "The anomaly is affecting our signal," Maya nodded. Understood, but we continue forward. The incident with the anomaly became a turning point for the crew. They had faced danger together and overcome it. The shared experience forged stronger bonds between the military personnel and civilians, between scientists and engineers. In the weeks that followed, they encountered other challenges. A micrometeoroid shower damaged one of the sensor arrays. A solar flare from a nearby star forced them to power down non-essential systems for 36 hours. Each time, the crew adapted and overcame. 5 months into their journey, Arya made an announcement that sent excitement through the ship. Attention all personnel. We have detected transmissions consistent with advanced technology, originating from our destination. We are now close enough to receive current data from the Lumeri system. In the science lab, the team gathered around the main display. Look at that architecture, Dr. Wilson breathed, studying the images of crystal-like cities that Arya had captured. It's beautiful. And completely impractical on Earth, Dr. Kwan pointed out. Those structures would collapse under our gravity and weather conditions. Different worlds, different solutions, James replied. That's why they need us. Their solutions won't work for this asteroid problem. As they approached the Lumeri system, the crew got their first direct look at the threat. The asteroid cluster was massive, dozens of large bodies traveling together, with the largest nearly 2 kilometers across. Impact from just one of those would be devastating, Maya said during a briefing with her senior staff. The entire cluster would be an extinction-level event. The Lumeri have sent updated information, Elena reported. They have deflector technology that could divert the asteroids, but they lack the physical capability to install the equipment on the asteroids themselves. That's where we come in, Commander Patel said. Spacewalks, heavy lifting, working in high-stress environments. All things humans have been doing in space for centuries. But first, we need to make contact without scaring them half to death, Ambassador Laura reminded everyone. We need to show them we're here to help, not conquer. In her quarters that night, Maya recorded a personal log. The habit, started on her first space mission 10 years earlier, helped her process her thoughts. We're 1 week out from the Lumeri system, she said quietly. Earth is just a bright star behind us now. Ahead is the unknown, a civilization that has never encountered humans before. They reached out in desperation, not expecting a species like ours to answer. She paused, looking at the small picture of her daughter on her desk. I wonder what they'll think of us. Will they see past our physical differences? Will they understand that the same evolution that made us strong also taught us compassion? That surviving on a death world meant learning to help each other? Maya smiled slightly. They sent a distress signal into the void. They didn't expect Deathworlders to acknowledge it. But here we are, racing across the stars to save a people we've never met. Maybe that's the most human thing about us. On the bridge, Lieutenant Kim monitored the ship's approach to the Lumeri system. The star grew larger on the view screen, its 5 planets coming into view. The second planet, Lumeria, they had learned, glowed with a pale blue light, its 3 moons orbiting in a complex dance. And beyond the planet, visible even at this distance, loomed the asteroid cluster, inexorably moving toward the fragile civilization that awaited them. Begin deceleration, Maya ordered as she entered the bridge. Standard app in the central communication tower on Lumeria, alarms blared with an urgency that had not been heard in generations. First observer GL rushed to the main control room, his thin limbs moving with surprising speed despite his advanced age. What is happening? He demanded as he entered. Second observer Kaylin looked up from her console, her large eyes wide with shock. A ship has entered our system. A ship we do not recognize. Impossible, GL said. No civilization within response range has ships capable of interstellar travel. This one came from beyond response range, Kaylin replied, her voice trembling. From the direction of a small yellow star, 47 light-years distant. GL felt a chill run through his body. The Forbidden Zone? A death world responded to our signal? The room fell silent as the implications sank in. The Lumeri had classified planets by their habitability, with their own world as the ideal standard. Worlds with high gravity, extreme weather, tectonic instability, or abundant predator species were classified as death worlds, places the Lumeri would never visit or colonize. They are transmitting a message, Cullen said finally. Breaking the silence. Put it through, GL ordered, straightening his frail body. A voice filled the room, speaking a language none of them understood. But the translation matrix quickly converted it to the melodic language of the Lumeri. "This is Captain Maya Chen of the United Earth ship Mercy. We received your distress signal and have come to offer assistance. We request permission to approach and establish communication protocols." GL felt his 3 hearts beating rapidly. After a moment of hesitation, he nodded to Kalen. "Reply, tell them they are welcome, but to approach slowly, and request visual communication." Minutes later, the large screen in the control room activated. The Lumeri gathered gasped collectively as they saw a human face for the first time. Captain Maya Chen looked directly into the camera, her expression carefully neutral. She had been chosen partly for her calm demeanor, which the diplomatic team hoped would be reassuring to the aliens. "Greetings from Earth," she said. "We understand you face a crisis with an approaching asteroid cluster." On the screen, the humans could see their alien counterparts clearly for the first time. The Lumeri were tall and slender, with nearly transparent skin through which complex organs could be faintly seen. Their large, multifaceted eyes dominated faces that had no visible nose, just small breathing slits. They appeared to have 4 slender arms and stood on 2 thin legs. GL stepped forward. "We are grateful for your response, though confused. Your world was classified in our database as a death world. We did not expect beings from such a planet to acknowledge our call, much less travel such a distance to assist us." Maya nodded. "We understand your surprise. Our worlds are very different. But when we received your message, we couldn't ignore it. Helping others in need is a fundamental human value." The Lumeri Council gathered in an emergency session, while the UES Mercy remained in high orbit. Debates raged for hours about whether to allow the humans to approach further. "They are from a high-gravity world," one counselor argued. "Their physical strength could crush us accidentally. But they have traveled so far to help," another countered. "And the asteroid cluster draws closer. We have no other options." Finally, GL addressed the council. "I have spoken at length with this Captain Chen. They understand our concerns and have agreed to strict protocols. They will send a small delegation to meet with us, wearing what they call environmental suits to protect us from any potential biological contamination." With reluctance, the council agreed. A landing site was prepared near the central science tower, away from population centers. Aboard the Mercy, Maya briefed the first contact team. "Remember, everything about us is potentially frightening to them," she explained. "Move slowly. Keep your distance. Speak softly. They evolved without predators, so they lack the instincts to deal with a species like ours." The team consisted of Maya, Dr. Elena Santos, Ambassador Laura Chen, Dr. James Wilson, and Commander Raj Patel. They wore lightweight environmental suits designed to minimize their already intimidating presence. The shuttle descended through Lumeria's atmosphere, landing gently on the designated pad. When the door opened, the humans felt the lower gravity immediately, despite the suit's compensators. "Careful," Maya warned. "We're significantly stronger here than on Earth. Be mindful of every movement." A delegation of Lumeri waited at a safe distance, their slender bodies seeming to sway slightly in the light breeze. GL stood at the front, flanked by Kalen and several council members. Ambassador Laura took the lead, stepping forward slowly and stopping at the prearranged distance of 5 meters. "We bring greetings and friendship from Earth," she said, making the graceful gesture the diplomatic team had practiced, a movement the Lumeri used to indicate peaceful intentions. GL mirrored the gesture. "Welcome to Lumeria. We are grateful for your assistance, though still uncertain about your motives." "We have none beyond helping," Laura assured him. "When we heard your distress call, we couldn't ignore it." "But you gain nothing from this," Kalen said, her confusion evident. "You risk your lives traveling to an unknown world," Commander Patel spoke up. "Where we come from, helping others isn't about what you get back. It's about doing what's right." The Lumeri exchanged glances, clearly struggling with the concept. Dr. Wilson, ever the scientist, changed the subject. "Your world is beautiful. The crystalline structures of your buildings are remarkable." This seemed to put the Lumeri more at ease. GL gestured toward the central science tower. "We have prepared a space where we can discuss the asteroid threat in detail. If you would follow us, but please, maintain distance." As they walked, the humans noticed how the Lumeri moved with fluid grace in their low-gravity environment. The aliens, in turn, watched with fascination and terror, as the humans navigated their world with careful, measured steps that still conveyed power. Inside the tower, a large room had been set up with separate sections for the humans and Lumeri. The central holographic projector displayed the approaching asteroid cluster. "We have tracked their approach for some time," GL explained. "Our scientists developed technology that could deflect their path, but we face an insurmountable problem." "The physical installation," Maya guessed. "Precisely," GL confirmed. "The deflectors must be placed directly on the largest asteroids and activated in sequence. But our bodies," he gestured to his fragile form, "we cannot withstand the conditions of space for more than minutes. The physical exertion alone would kill us." Dr. Santos studied the schematics that appeared on the holographic display. "These are impressive devices. How many would need to be installed?" 17, Kalen answered. "On the largest bodies in the cluster. Once activated, they would create a gravitational field that would slowly alter the cluster's trajectory." "We can do this," Commander Patel said confidently. "Spacewalks are standard procedure for us. We've been working in space for centuries." The Lumeri seemed shocked by this casual assertion. One of the council members stepped forward. "You would willingly expose yourselves to the vacuum of space? Risk your lives among these asteroids?" "It's what we came here to do," Maya replied simply. Over the next several days, the human team learned about the Lumeri deflector technology while teaching the aliens about human capabilities. The two species established a working protocol, though cultural misunderstandings were frequent. In one memorable incident, Dr. Wilson accidentally dropped a datapad, which shattered on the floor. He instinctively knelt to clean up the mess, picking up the pieces with his gloved hands. The Lumeri in the room backed away in terror. "What's wrong?" Wilson asked, freezing in place. You handled the broken pieces without protection," one of the Lumeri scientists stammered. "The sharp edges," Wilson realized what had happened. "Oh, I'm sorry if that was alarming. Our skin is much thicker than yours. Small cuts are a minor inconvenience to us, not a serious injury." This led to an impromptu lesson on human biology that left the Lumeri both fascinated and horrified. The concept of a skeletal system protected by layers of muscle and skin, designed to withstand impacts and pressure, was alien to them. "So you are armored on the inside and outside?" Kalen asked, her scientific curiosity overcoming her fear. "In a way," Dr. Wilson agreed. "We evolved on a world that tried to kill us every day. Our bodies adapted. In turn, the humans learned about Lumeri physiology, their multiple hearts, their ability to photosynthesize partially through their transparent skin, their incredible visual acuity that allowed them to see spectrums invisible to humans." The initial fear gave way to cautious curiosity on both sides. The Lumeri began to see that the humans' physical strength was matched by their intellectual and emotional capacity. The humans gained respect for the Lumeri's advanced technology and profound understanding of gravitational physics. On the fourth day, Teresa invited Maya to observe a Lumeri art performance, a ritual of light and movement performed by specialists whose transparent bodies seemed to capture and redirect the colored lights around them. "It is beautiful," Maya said afterward. "Thank you for sharing this with me. I wished you to see that we are more than our fragility." Z. The UES Mercy hovered near the edge of the asteroid cluster, its engines flaring occasionally to maintain position. On the bridge, Captain Maya Chen studied the tactical display, her expression grim. "The first wave will reach the outer colony in less than 24 hours, she said. "We need to deploy the deflectors immediately." Commander Raj Patel nodded, checking the readiness report on his tablet. "The team is prepared. The Lumeri have transferred all 17 deflector devices to our cargo bay. Our engineers have spent the last 2 days studying them." "And the installation points?" Maya asked. "Mapped and programmed into our navigation systems," Lieutenant Kim replied from her station. "We've identified the 17 largest bodies in the cluster. If we can alter their trajectory, the smaller ones will follow." Maya took a deep breath. "Deploy the teams." The ship buzzed with activity as 3 teams of 4 prepared for their spacewalks. Each team would target different asteroids, installing the deflector devices at precise points determined by Lumeri calculations. In the shuttle bay, engineer Maria Santos checked her partner's suit one last time. "Remember, the gravity on these rocks is minimal. The magnetic boots will help, but move carefully." Her partner, Lieutenant Jackson, gave her a thumbs up. "Not my first spacewalk, Santos." But it is my first time saving an alien civilization. The Lumeri had sent a small delegation to the Mercy to monitor the operation. First Observer GL and Second Observer Kalen watched the humans prepare with a mixture of fascination and anxiety. They seem so calm, Kalen remarked, her voice quiet. Do they not understand the danger? They understand, GL replied. But they are built for danger in ways we can barely comprehend. The first shuttle launched, carrying Team Alpha toward the largest asteroid in the cluster. On board, Commander Patel reviewed the installation procedure with his team one last time. The device needs to be secured at exactly the coordinates provided. The Lumeri calculations are precise, off by even a few meters, and the deflection won't work properly. How much time do we have once we're on the surface? Asked Specialist Chen. 30 minutes maximum, Patel replied. The radiation from the cluster is higher than expected. Our suits will protect us, but not indefinitely. The shuttle approached the massive asteroid, a jagged rock nearly 2 kilometers across. The pilot, Lieutenant Rodriguez, skillfully navigated around debris, bringing them to the designated landing zone. Surface is unstable, she warned. I can't hold this position long. Understood, Patel replied. Let's move. The team exited the shuttle, their magnetic boots securing them to the asteroid's iron-rich surface. They moved carefully, carrying the deflector device between them. The device, a marvel of Lumeri technology, was surprisingly light but awkward to maneuver. 200 meters to the installation point, Specialist Chen reported. Checking the coordinates aboard the Mercy, Maya watched the operation through the team's helmet cameras. Beside her, GL observed with wide eyes. Your people move with such purpose, such strength, he commented. On our world, the weight of that device would require mechanical assistance. Different worlds, different adaptations, Maya replied. Your people developed incredible technology. We developed resilience. Team Alpha reached the installation point and began securing the device to the asteroid surface. Commander Patel's voice came through the communications channel, calm and methodical. Device 1 is in position. Beginning activation sequence. Similar reports came in from Teams Beta and Gamma. Within hours, 6 deflectors had been successfully installed. But as Team Alpha prepared to move to their next target, disaster struck. A smaller asteroid, barely tracked by their sensors, collided with their target. The impact wasn't large enough to destroy the rock, but it sent vibrations across the surface. Unstable ground, Patel shouted as fissures appeared beneath them. Back to the shuttle. The team scrambled across the shifting surface. Lieutenant Evans stumbled as a crack opened beneath his foot. He fell, sliding toward the edge of a newly formed crevasse. Without hesitation, Specialist Chen leapt after him, her tether stretching to its limit. She caught Evans's arm just as he slipped over the edge. I've got you, she grunted, using her suit's enhanced strength to pull him back to safety. On the Mercy, the Lumeri watched the rescue with astonishment. She risked her life, Callan whispered, without calculation or hesitation. That's what humans do, Dr. Wilson explained from nearby. We protect our own. Team Alpha made it back to their shuttle with only seconds to spare before a section of the asteroid broke away entirely. As they returned to the Mercy, Maya revised the operation plan. We need to accelerate the timeline, she told her officers. The cluster is becoming more unstable as it enters the gravitational influence of the Lumeri system. The operation continued with increased urgency. Teams worked in shifts, installing deflectors on asteroid after asteroid. The work was dangerous and exhausting. 2 crew members suffered injuries when micrometeorites penetrated their suits. Another was temporarily blinded when a reflective crystal on an asteroid surface caught the system's sun at the wrong angle. Yet they pressed on. By the end of the second day, 14 deflectors had been successfully installed and activated. We're beginning to see the effects, Kalen reported excitedly, studying the data from Lumeri observatories. The trajectory is shifting exactly as calculated. But the celebration was short-lived. An alarm blared through the ship. Captain to the bridge, Arya's voice announced with unusual urgency. Maya arrived to find her officers gathered around the main display. What's happened? A large section of the cluster has fragmented, Lieutenant Kim reported grimly. 3 significant bodies are now on a direct course for the Lumeri colony, on their 4th moon. Current trajectory will bring impact in less than 6 hours. Before the deflection effect can reach them, GL said, his voice hollow with despair. 3,000 of my people live on that colony. Maya studied the display, her mind racing through options. We need to place additional deflectors. We don't have time to install them properly, Chief Engineer Ortiz objected. The mounting alone takes hours. Then we don't mount them, Maya decided. We detonate them. The room fell silent. The deflectors aren't designed as explosives, Kalen said uncertainly. No, but they create gravitational distortions, Maya explained. If we modify the devices and detonate them in sequence near the fragments, we can push them off course enough to miss the moon. That would require someone to pilot a shuttle directly into the fragment cluster, Commander Patel pointed out, and trigger the devices manually. They might not make it out. I'll go, Maya said firmly. Captain, protocol dictates, Patel began. Protocol doesn't cover saving an alien civilization, Maya cut him off. I'm the most qualified pilot. Prepare a shuttle and 3 modified deflectors. As the engineering team rushed to modify the devices, Maya recorded a brief message for her daughter back on Earth just in case. Then she met with her officers. Commander Patel has operational command until I return, she instructed. Continue installing the remaining deflectors according to plan. GL approached her as she prepared to board the shuttle. Captain Chen, your actions exceed any obligation. Why risk yourself this way? Maya checked her suit seals one last time. Because I can. Because your people need help that only we can provide. Isn't that reason enough? Before GL could respond, an alarm sounded from the shuttle bay doors. The fragmented asteroids had released a cloud of debris that was heading directly for the Mercy. Impact in 60 seconds, Lieutenant Kim called out. All hands brace for impact, Patel ordered. The debris struck the Mercy's shields with devastating force. Most of it was deflected, but several larger pieces broke through, puncturing the hull in 3 places. Emergency bulkheads slammed shut, preventing catastrophic decompression. Damage report, Patel demanded. Hull breaches on decks 3, 5, and 7, reported Chief Ortiz. Repair teams responding. But sir, the shuttle bay took a direct hit. The launch mechanism is damaged. Maya checked the status from her shuttle's controls. The bay doors are jammed. We can't launch. The fragments will reach the moon colony in 5 hours, 27 minutes, Kalen said, her voice shaking. There's no time to repair the launch system. A new voice cut through the communications channel. This is Lieutenant Rodriguez from Shuttle 2. We're already deployed and can intercept the fragments. Rodriguez, what are you doing out there? Maya demanded. All teams were recalled. We were returning from our last installation when the debris hit, Rodriguez explained. We're fully fueled and carrying 1 spare deflector. We can do this, Captain. Maya hesitated, knowing what she was asking her crew to risk. But time was running out. You'll need at least 3 modified deflectors to affect all 3 fragments, she said finally. Return to the Mercy for equipment and additional personnel. No time, Captain, Rodriguez replied. But the Lumeri have a solution. Their observatory vessel is nearby with 2 deflectors on board. We can rendezvous and proceed from there. On the bridge, GL stepped forward. This is true, Captain Chen. Our science vessel Stellar Harmony is positioned to observe the deflection effects. They can assist your team. Maya made her decision. Proceed, Lieutenant. Rendezvous with the Stellar Harmony and coordinate with their crew. But Rodriguez, get the job done and get out. That's an order. On to 3 weeks after the asteroid crisis, Lumeria's 3 moons cast their familiar blue glow over the crystal cities, but much had changed. In the central plaza of the capital city, a monument was under construction, a sculpture depicting human and Lumeri figures standing together, facing the stars. In the High Council chamber, Captain Maya Chen stood before the assembled Lumeri leadership. She felt strange without her environmental suit, but after extensive testing, both species had confirmed there were no biological threats between them. The humans still moved carefully in the low gravity, conscious of their strength in this fragile world. High Counselor Tivan approached, carrying a crystal sphere that glowed with an inner light. Captain Chen, the Council has unanimously voted to present you with the Stellar Preservation Award, the highest honor our civilization bestows. Never before has it been given to an off-worlder. Maya accepted the delicate crystal with careful hands. On behalf of my crew and all of humanity, I am honored. We came here as strangers, but we leave as friends. More than friends, First Observer GL added, stepping forward. The Council has decided to formally propose an alliance between our peoples. We have much to offer each other. The proposal didn't surprise Maya. Over the past weeks, as the humans had helped with repairs to damaged Lumeri infrastructure, the two species had developed a growing appreciation for each other's unique strengths and perspectives. "I'll convey your proposal to Earth's leadership," Maya replied, "but speaking personally, I believe they will welcome it enthusiastically." Later that evening, a reception was held in the Harmony Gardens, a beautiful space where light played through crystal structures, creating patterns that shifted with the moon's movement. Humans and Lumeri mingled, still with some physical distance, but with growing comfort in each other's presence. Dr. James Wilson found himself speaking with a group of Lumeri scientists, explaining the concept of Earth's varied ecosystems. "So within one planet you have frozen regions, burning deserts, vast oceans, and dense forests?" asked Tivell, a young Lumeri biologist. "Exactly," James confirmed. "And life has adapted to each environment in remarkable ways. And humans can survive in all these conditions?" another scientist asked incredulously. "With some technological assistance in the extremes, yes," James nodded. "But indigenous peoples have thrived in everything from Arctic conditions to tropical rainforests for thousands of years." The Lumeri exchanged looks of amazement. Perhaps the Deathworld classification requires reconsideration," Tivell suggested thoughtfully. Across the garden, Ambassador Laura Chen was deep in conversation with members of the Lumeri Cultural Exchange Guild. "We've begun transmitting information about Earth's cultures to our network of allied worlds," explained Guildmaster Lorian. "The response has been overwhelming. Many civilizations wish to establish communication with Earth." Laura raised her eyebrows. "How many civilizations are in this network?" 27 spacefaring species spread across this sector of the galaxy," Lorian replied. "Most evolved in conditions similar to Lumeria, stable environments with minimal threats. None had considered that life could thrive under Earth's conditions. And now they all want to meet the Deathworlders who came to the rescue," Laura said with a slight smile. "Indeed," Lorian agreed, though they prefer the term resilient adaptives now. "It seems more diplomatic." Near the garden's central fountain, Commander Raj Patel found himself surrounded by young Lumeri, their large eyes full of curiosity. "Is it true you can break rocks with your hands?" one of them asked excitedly. Raj laughed. "Not exactly. But humans are physically stronger than Lumeri because our muscles developed to work against Earth's gravity, which is much stronger than yours." "Can you show us?" another young Lumeri asked. Raj looked around and spotted a piece of metal debris left from the recent repairs. With permission from a nearby adult Lumeri, he picked it up and, with some effort, bent it into a crude curve. The young Lumeri gasped in delight and terror. To them, it was like watching someone bend reality itself. "But strength isn't what saved your world," Raj told them seriously. "It was cooperation, planning, and determination. Those are qualities any species can develop." As the evening wore on, Maya found herself standing beside GL on a balcony overlooking the city. The asteroid cluster was visible in the night sky, now a safe distance from Lumeria and continuing to move farther away. "Your world is beautiful," Maya said. "So different from Earth, but beautiful in its own way." "We would like to see Earth someday," GL replied, "though I understand we would require significant environmental supports to survive there. Our scientists are already designing special habitats and suits that would allow Lumeri to visit comfortably," Maya assured him, "just as you helped us adapt to your world. It seems remarkable that our civilizations could be so different yet find common ground," Joel observed. "Maybe that's the real lesson here," Maya suggested. "Different evolutionary paths don't have to lead to conflict. They can be complementary." The next morning in the Central Science Tower, a formal ceremony marked the signing of the Preliminary Alliance Agreement. The document outlined cultural exchange programs, technological cooperation initiatives, and mutual defense protocols. As Maya signed on behalf of Earth, pending official ratification, cameras recorded the historic moment for transmission back to both worlds. The Lumeri media, much like Earth's, had been captivated by the story of the humans who traveled across the stars to save a civilization they had never met. "This marks a new chapter for both our peoples," High Counselor Tivan announced, "and perhaps for the galaxy itself." After the ceremony, Maya met with her senior officers to prepare for their departure. The UES Mercy had been fully repaired, with significant upgrades contributed by Lumeri engineers. The ship's gravitational systems, in particular, had been enhanced using Lumeri technology. Earth is going to be very interested in these modifications, Chief Engineer Ortiz commented. Reviewing the specifications and the Lumeri medical technologies, Dr. Kwan added. Their regenerative treatments could revolutionize human medicine. All part of a fair exchange, Maya noted. Our metallurgical techniques and structural engineering principles are already helping them design more robust structures. The conversation was interrupted when Lieutenant Kim entered with an urgent message. Captain, we're receiving a priority transmission from Earth. The UN Security Council and General Assembly have both voted unanimously to ratify the alliance. Maya smiled. Faster than expected. The story of our mission must have made quite an impression back home. It's all anyone's talking about, Kim confirmed. First contact, a successful rescue mission, and now an interstellar alliance. It's historic. The UES Mercy prepared for departure the following day. A small contingent of Lumeri would travel with them, scientists, diplomats, and cultural experts who had volunteered to be the first of their kind to visit Earth. They would travel in specially designed quarters that mimicked Lumerian conditions. As the crew made final preparations, Maya received an unexpected visitor in her ready room. It was the young Lumeri who had questioned her days earlier about growing up on a death world. Captain Chen, he said formally. I am Zaylan, apprentice to the Science Guild. I wanted to thank you before you depart. You're welcome, Zaylan, Maya replied. Though I'm curious what specifically you're thanking me for. The young Lumeri's skin flushed slightly, a sign of emotional intensity. For showing us that strength can exist alongside compassion. For demonstrating that evolution in harsh conditions produces not just physical resilience but moral courage. Maya was touched by the young alien's words. Those are wise observations, Zaylan. I have requested permission to join the next delegation to Earth, Zaylan continued. I wish to study how other species adapt to challenges. Perhaps the Lumeri have been too comfortable for too long. There's value in your peaceful evolution too, Maya assured him. Don't be too quick to dismiss it. Earth's history includes much conflict and suffering alongside our achievements. Balance, then, Zaylan suggested, as in all things. As in all things, Maya agreed. Later, on the bridge of the Mercy, Maya watched as Lumeria grew smaller on the view screen. Beside her stood Giel, who had decided to lead the Lumeri delegation to Earth personally. I never imagined I would leave my world, he admitted, much less travel to a planet once classified as forbidden. Life is full of surprises, Maya replied. 7 months ago, I never imagined we'd receive a message from the stars, much less answer it. Do you think there are many other worlds out there? Giel asked. More civilizations waiting to be discovered? I'm certain of it, Maya said. Some probably like yours, some perhaps like ours, and countless others we can't even imagine. As the Mercy accelerated toward Earth, news of their mission had already spread beyond the Lumeri and their immediate allies. Across the sector, civilizations that had long categorized planets like Earth as too dangerous for contact were reconsidering their policies. On a distant world called Alaria, the ruling council reviewed the reports from Lumeria with astonishment. These humans traveled 47 light-years to assist strangers, one counselor noted, and they succeeded where